Fix Auto location. Their highly trained and certified technicians will have you back on the road in no time. You have a choice on who fixes your vehicle. Tell your insurance agent that you want to go to Fix Auto.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
The Lakers finally get a win in the Battle of LA. They beat the Clippers by 5 last night in overtime. First win for the Lakers over the Clippers since July 30th, 2020, when the NBA was in the bubble down in Orlando. The win snapped an 11-game losing streak to the Clippers. Austin Reeves scored 7 of his 15 points in overtime. LeBron played 42 minutes. He led the Lakers with 35 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. Congratulations to the Texas Rangers and their shortstop Corey Seager. The Rangers shut out the Arizona Diamondbacks last night to win their first World Series. The Rangers did it in 5 games. They were 11-0 on the road in the postseason. Seager, who played 7 seasons with the Dodgers, was named World Series MVP. Seager had 3 homers and 6 RBIs. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us in celebrating the season of giving by being part of the solution. As we enjoy great food, family, warmth, and well wishes in whatever our festive tradition may be, we share the beauty of the season by reaching out to the less fortunate. Please help us to help others with the KBLA Cover the Houseless Cozy Community Coat and Blanket Drive. All you have to do is drop off new or clean, gently used winter coats and blankets in the KBLA lobby during business hours. Now through December 20th, all of the coats and blankets will be donated to unsheltered individuals and families experiencing houselessness. Simply bring your donation to 4434 Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles, near Vernon Avenue, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. That's 4434 Crenshaw in historic Leimert Park. During the holidays and every day, let's remember, we keep us safe. We keep us warm. We are the safety net. And together, we can cover the unsheltered. Get caught up in the spirit of the season, the spirit of love. Make a difference with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
Walks, I like the way she talks, and she turns me on with a special concern. Now I'm a different guy, and I don't compare to many. But next to her, I'm plain ordinary. Not many can see the light blue aura that surrounds the girl wherever in the world. She's a 9, a 10, a 20, 50. She's bittersweet and a taco treat. She's strange, and I like it. She's strange, just the way she is.
KBLA Talk 1580. She picked it. I didn't pick it. She picked it. This is her walk-on music. I'm talking about the founder of Live Your Life community organization. And she is a community leader. NaKiesha Mama Boo Scott.
Hey.
She's strange. You
Yes,
picked it. And I
very
actually
much so.
like that song. I haven't heard it in a long time. Why did you pick that?
Because I like the song and I think that I'm not average. So that's the best song that I could think that fit. Like, she's strange.
And I like it. Don't forget the I like it part. Well, it's great to see you back in studio again.
Thank you for having me again.
And we've had amazing feedback on the young ladies that you bring in to speak.
Really?
People, yeah,
Good.
people really are happy to hear a young perspective. You just heard Amara Keone talking in the last hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I commend you for the work that you're doing with young women, young
you.
Black women specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations on your cover story on the Wave newspaper.
Hey.
You and the young ladies from Live Your Life are here on the front page talking about Live Your Life group inspires, empowers teen girls.
Yes, but thank you because that came from Dominique, you guys. That came from her. One of the listeners, Shirley Hawkins, she heard the girls and called me the next day. Well, matter of fact, the same day. And me and her started talking the next day. Thanks to Dominique.
Thank you, KBLA.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
yay,
KBLA,
awesome.
Dominique, everybody.
That's
you.
great. I mean, I love that. Thank you, Shirley, too. She's
Absolutely.
been writing for a lot of places for a long time, but it's good. I'm glad you're getting the recognition for the work that you are doing. Live Your Life organization, for those who missed it, is about empowering young girls, like
Absolutely.
the headline says, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's about coming together and actually giving them more to do, just, exposing them to more things so they can broaden a, mindset, opposed to just in the four corners of the hood and just what the average people are doing.
In the
and then
four
have
corners of the hood.
Worksheets, about self-esteem, self-worth. We got to go over all of that. And they're open to talk to me about anything that they want to talk to me about, even if I'm wrong, or they can criticize me, if they feel to. So I'm open to that. I don't want it to just be a one-way street where it's like, okay, Miss Boo, we got to talk to you. Oh, okay, what I do? So it's open.
I mean,
for all
that's
that.
the ultimate empowerment, right?
Right.
If they can challenge someone that they look up to. So
Yeah.
So today we said, rather than focusing on the organization or the young people, you're here with them every time they come, but you're behind the scenes and you don't want to get on the mic. You want to let them have the spotlight.
Absolutely.
But today we said we would tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
So take us back to how you came up, to little NaKiesha.
Little NaKiesha was a vibrant little young lady, struggling in a household with, no guidance. Actually just trying to find my way more on a negative part, because it seems to me, just looking back and then looking at everybody that I know within my community, the most ones that struggle the hardest in the household, they have more of a discipline issue outside the household, but it stems from in the household. So I was just a little bad little girl, just getting passed through school, just being pushed through, but not retaining or receiving the information and the education that I needed.
So at school, you're getting promoted from grade to grade, even though you didn't feel like you were learning anything.
Oh, I wasn't learning anything. I couldn't read.
Couldn't read at all?
No.
Until
after I had my daughter, I actually learned how to reading to her.
So you never learned how to read in school?
No, it was like, where I can read certain things, but I would just have so much anxiety to read out loud, and I knew I couldn't pronounce everything, that I just started being disruptive.
Mm. And at home you said no support. What does that look like?
That looks like me, my mother, and my brother, and that looks like just her doing her, on drugs, however, and not supporting me with basketball, with teacher-parent conferences, none of that.
So there's addiction struggles going on in the house.
Yes.
And how did that impact you as a little kid?
As a little kid, I didn't understand it, because I see my friends with their parents, going to the beach, or, me being invited to like Knoxbury Farm or things like that. Just like a real quick thought, from little to being grown to I took my kids, I've never been taken to an amusement park other than the school on a field trip. So it was just no exposure to anything, just in the apartments and in church. Now, my mama did go to church every Sunday, and I was in a choir. So I believe that's where a lot of my respect and structure did come from, by being at church. You can't be disrespectful to your elders. You can't talk back. You can't do none of that. So I think that's where my respect and all of that came from, more so in the church house.
That's interesting. So the life skills part of being able to navigate society is coming from church, not from home.
Right.
And so even though your mom, I don't know if you want to say what she was addicted to or is addicted to.
Crack,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is she
not no
well
more.
now?
Not no
She's
more.
well now.
Yeah, well, medically, she have medical issues now from the years of usage.
Yeah, that's so hard on the body and the mind.
Mm-hmm.
So even though she was struggling with crack addiction, she was still going to church and taking you to church.
Yes.
And
yes.
that, it sounds like from what you're telling me, that was like the only thing that was consistent.
That was the one thing where we was outside the house. And it's one of those things where she went to church every Sunday, and we was in a choir. So choir rehearsal, all the time we was there. and come home, go in her room, and get back to what she do.
And nobody in the church was even aware of what was going on with your mom or
she
trying to
did
intervene?
Not look it. No,
Really?
no, she was not, one to walk the streets or anything like that. We was not moved from pillar to post, nothing like that. The apartment that we moved in when I was 6 years old, she's still there.
Wow.
So it was like if you did not know or if you did not see her go to the location, you would have known.
Right. So, I mean, that's really a hard way to come up as a kid, for sure.
Yeah, because it's embarrassment. It's not really talking to your friends about what you really feel, so you got to hold it all in and just keep going, basically.
And I'm sure financially it took a toll on, what you had growing up, right?
Yeah, because I didn't have anything. Yeah. It was more going to the dope man, opposed to school clothes or opposed to food in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
I mean, my real memories was bread and the butter from the churches in the freezer all the time. That was for sure in there.
Yeah. So that's what you were. I mean, that's what you guys were
Yeah, that's
eating.
what I was accustomed to more. So, the first of the month, it was food until about the 6th or 7th, and other than that, we just struggling the rest of the month.
And how are you getting by?
She made it work. Some type of way she made it work. So I can say that. I don't remember lights or nothing being cut off, but I remember being hungry a lot.
Yeah. And so when you are a kid and you're going through these struggles, right? You're living in a situation that's rife with drugs, not enough food. I'm imagining what about the situation with partners, with folks she's dating coming in and out of the house?
You know what? That's one thing that she really did not have a lot of. Company. Okay. My mama did not have company. She was more just into herself, really into herself.
Right.
And I mean, I can count on one hand how many male friends that she had. So that was nothing that I was ever exposed to like that. And the ones that did come around, I had been knowing them since I was little type thing. So I've never been exposed to being molested or anything like that. So she did good with that. Yeah. I can say that about that. Now, other than spending the money on drugs and not on me and my brother, and then not actually being active and supportive, outside the household, that's the only bad thing that I can really say. But it had a big effect on me. But the other effect was I wasn't exposed to some of the things that most young girls with a parent that's on drugs are exposed to.
Right. So when you say it had a big effect on you, what do you mean by that? Tell me how that manifests.
I mean, I played sports. So like 6th grade, I started playing basketball, volleyball, and softball. And I was really good, like totally good. And she never came to nothing but one game ever in my life. And I kind of felt some type of way. Like I see my other friends' moms there, and then teacher parent conference. I got all F's on my report card and she still don't go. So it was kind of like, she don't care, I don't care.
Okay.
And I took on that I don't care mindset because it seems as if she didn't care. But I'm older now and I'm thinking she didn't have the tools, and then on top of the drugs. So it's a lot that I cannot blame her for now that I'm grown. But in the early 20s, it was just like, you. And it's like, now I'm a grown woman. It's like, no, I can understand it. From knowing what I found out about her childhood, then the drug use, it kind of makes sense. Because some women go through things and it breaks them, and other women, it makes them stronger to overcome. And I believe what she went through broke her.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, and that's a mature perspective. It's funny because we're just talking about that with my family. At some point, you have to forgive.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, well, your mom is famous and your dad is famous. Yeah. They're poets, human. Lifestyles of the poor and famous, So there's that generational trauma. Mm-hmm. And then, but when you're a kid, you don't receive it as generational trauma. Right. You say, my mom has a drug problem.
Mm-hmm. And that's something I did not say for so many years. Yeah. I think the first time I actually really spoke of it was more likely to my kid's father. And then when I did a street gang, my first street gang interview with Alex Alonzo, that's the first time I really spoke. And it's so many people that I grew up with, went to school with, was like, I never knew that.
Yeah.
And it was like, looking at her, you couldn't tell.
Well, and I mean, that's what they say. We're as sick as our secrets, right? Mm-hmm. So that secret must have been haunting you in some way.
It was. I wasn't ashamed of my mom because she's pretty. You know, I look like my mama. So I wasn't ashamed of her as far as in the look, the physical, you know, but I wouldn't talk about what was going on in the household.
Yeah.
I wouldn't talk about being hungry, you know. I wouldn't talk about you guys got on new shoes and all of my shoes is hand-me-down. My clothes is always hand-me-down. You know, I didn't talk about things like that.
Talking with NaKiesha Scott, a.k.a. Mama Boo. Want to talk about what that led to. You know, where did you go next before you got to where you are now? What does it mean to overcome trauma and then generational trauma? And how does that lead you to be exactly that, a leader? All that straight ahead on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
This open enrollment season, LA Care Covered is offering health plans starting at $0 a month. Each plan provides benefits including $0 preventive services, 24/7 telehealth services, around-the-clock nurse advice lines, walk-in minute clinics, and more. Shop and compare premium silver plans with $0 deductibles to help meet your health goals. Ready to shop? Visit us online at lacarecovered.org for a commitment-free instant quote or speak with us directly at 855-222-4239. LA Care Covered, your affordable path to wellness.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Hey, everything okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Honey. Hey, I'm here for you. Tell me about school today.
When kids can't find the right words, music can help them sound it out. Talk to the kids in your life about their emotional well-being. Find tools and resources at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
If you are a private individual or a small business owner who has had problems obtaining a business loan, credit card, or just even acquiring an apartment, please call Alliance Hillview LP for a free consultation at area code 510-459-6001. That's area code 510-459-6001. Remember, don't let your past determine your future.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
I can't do this. We doing this. Let's go. See, most people say slow down because they don't want you to pass them. Up all that. I say speed up. If not on the same team, slice them straight past them and watch them get mad. Up, slow this down. That ain't happening, so which type of clapping do we do? I never run from anybody, ain't starting with you. Make this beat big, call that bloody rage. Jig bars and lean it, call that black up. I took 20 off, now I'm back at it. Ain't slowing this shit down, milk bringing the havoc. Better grab your little forget before I stick a pacifier in his mouth. This is the part I take your heart and wipe my feet. Bringing bars, erotic, back, kick it up, static, talking bags, don't do verses. You snatch and bloody bleed on this beat, no mental, just with venture. From the trip to the tip, I'm grown, baby. I ain't waiting, anticipating, I ain't proof. It's to you in the fast lane, yeah, getting the fuck away from you. Go down, Bloody Mary times 3, cause you can't take this here.
KBLA Talk 1580. That's her right there, Mama Boo. NaKiesha Scott, that's your music, right? Outro us. Tell us what we're hearing.
Right now you're hearing Bloody Mary. So you're hearing 3 different verses. You have Boo, Mama Boo, and Boo Boo. Yeah, the Geminis on this one.
That's right. 2 Geminis sitting in the studio right now. Dominique DePrima and NaKiesha Mama Boo Scott. I always say I have 26 personalities. How many do you have?
About 8.
8, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little older than you, so I've had more time to
Right,
develop
to
more.
develop some more.
When you keep going, you might get up to 26 one day. Yeah, so we're talking about, this idea, you came up with trauma. You came up with a drug-addicted mom, single mom, not having enough to eat, and holding that to yourself, keeping it secret. And I imagine, you got involved with gang life. I imagine that happens when you seek out people that are dealing with the same kind of things you're dealing with. Talk to me about that.
For the most part, I mean, people that have things in common, they're typically to hang out more. So with the ones that was going through the same struggle or maybe a little bit different, but some type of trauma, that's a bonding, So I ran to the gangs because it was more what I thought was love. And I wouldn't say that it wasn't, because it was, because I do love my neighborhood, and I do know that I felt love within them time frames when I wanted to cry about different things. I had my 2 homegirls. So it was easy, though, because I was bad. So it wasn't like I was going against myself to do it. It was just easy and fun. But looking back, it was the stupidest thing for me to put that much energy into.
Okay, I'm going to push back on that you were bad. You were acting bad?
I wasn't acting. I was bad.
You were doing bad behavior?
That too.
But does that make you a bad person?
No, not a bad person to the core, but Boo Boo was bad, and she liked being bad, and that's not a good thing. That's why I'm whispering it.
Okay.
But
at the time you were acting out, as you put it, as Boo Boo.
Yeah.
You knew on some level it was wrong, what you were doing.
I knew I was wrong, and I didn't care because of the thrill. So, it was more that the thrill was good for me. But looking back, it was wrong, But I knew I was wrong at the moment, but I didn't care. I was young. I was like, oh, well. It was just like, I'm from where I'm from, and it is what it is. If I die tomorrow, oh, well. And I had that mentality.
And now you say you wasted time. It's interesting.
Absolutely.
The way you describe that, you wasted time.
I wasted time because what I think about it is the talent that I have, I had it then. As far as in rapping, I had it then. And I was so more concerned about Anthony's Park and gangbanging than I was with pursuing my talent. But then again, I had a shyness about me. I don't want nobody to tell me to read something, or I don't want nobody to tell me to add this up. So it was like, okay, I did it enough to expose myself around the community where they know that I can rap at Backyard Boogie, snatching microphones from people, just going in on the rap. But I believe insecurities is really what kept me from pursuing it, because I've been in different places like BT Live, where during intermission they like, do anybody here have a skill, rap, sing, poetry, whatever? And I'm like raising my hand, I toe it up. And once we left, there were people trying to give me business card, but it was men that had maybe a blue shirt on, blue button on, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing that. He a Crip, just with the dumb stuff. But now looking at like, you never know who that was, because the artist is the one that's on TV. That's the people that's in the background. Right. And I was just passing up on stuff, just this on anthems, just don't make no sense. So that's why I push so hard for these girls to not monkey see, monkey do, and follow what their spirit is telling them.
Yeah. So, I mean, so much to unpack here. How do you overcome that trauma? How do you move past, what we now know and now identify as generational trauma?
I say, me not knowing I was moving past it was for me to, for sure, not be to my kids who my mama was to me. So I broke the curse. And my daughter being firstborn, I started reading to her. My daughter was on honor roll from elementary all the way out of high school. And
you know that, and you tracked it.
Oh, yeah, I was there for everything. I was the pop-up mom.
Now, at this point, you're still active with your gang, or you've stepped back?
By the time she went to school, I had stepped back even more and more. It was gradually to where I'm at right now. So you could say like the first couple of years I still was hanging out. I wasn't active after I had her. I did make that decision, like I'm not going to be active anymore with doing what I was doing, because I always felt that if anything were to happen, it'll happen to my baby. I've always felt that. So I was like, I can't do nothing. So I always kept hanging around. Of course, you know, you just don't change your mind one day and just go away and then live that close. So, but it was gradually.
Right, you're
but
still
it was
in your
for the
community.
betterment. Yeah.
Well, I had a conversation with the activist LaTanya Ward yesterday, as you know, and she said to me that she still considers herself a member of her gang, and I've heard that from so many activists who are peace activists over the years. You don't reject your community, you reject the behavior.
Right.
Are you're on the same page?
Exactly.
So you still represent your community in a way.
Absolutely.
And what is that way now?
That is the way of me verbally saying it and representing my community, as in I know that anything that I do, it may slide back to she's from Athens. So I got to keep that in the forefront to make sure that I stick to what my spirit is saying and then help my community. My thing is I've had offers to get locations outside of my community, and I'm like, no, I will not do it. I'll need a location.
To have live your life somewhere at the Beverly
no,
Center or something.
Yeah, and I'm like, I will not do it. I am fixated on staying in my community because I grew up here. I want to start here first.
So being committed to your hood at this point means continuing whatever activism or whatever blessings you're bringing into the world in that location.
Yes. And the same energy that I have representing and going all out, I'm on the same pages on a positive note.
Mm. Well, we just got a minute here before news, traffic, and sports, and I want to ask you, about how you get from point A to point B. But let's take this minute to say like, how do you stay energized? A lot of people, when they're on that negative and the thrill that you're talking about, that has adrenaline. When you're doing the positive work and you get less recognition in some kind of way, how do you stay energized like that?
I think about the people that depend on me. I've had many moments where I'm like, I do not want to do my Saturdays no more. I've been doing this for 3 years, renting U-Hauls every Saturday to date. 3 years, I've probably missed a month and a half to 2 months of giving out foods, and that's in a combination of 3 years. But sometimes when I'm just sitting there, like, I do not want to get up and go rent this U-Haul, I think about the families that I know is dependent on me to be there that day. So that keeps me going. Then the social media with the young girls and just seeing how detached they are from who they supposed to be, that keeps me going.
NaKiesha Scott, a.k.a. Mama Boo, is my guest today. We're talking her story on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The Cornell University student who allegedly threatened to kill Jewish students is being held without bail. Patrick Dye, a 21-year-old engineering student from Pittsford, New York, shuffled into federal court in Syracuse Wednesday in a jail jumpsuit. He waived his right to a bail hearing. Prosecutors said Dye allegedly posted threats on a website associated with Cornell fraternities to shoot up a kosher dining hall and to, quote, behead a pig baby Jew. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is joining several mayors in Washington, D.C. today to ask the White House and Congress for action on the migrant crisis. Adams, Denver Mayor Mike Johnston, and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnston will meet with federal officials. Mayors Adams and Johnson are African American. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Don't let a traffic accident ruin your day. Visit fixautousa.com to find the nearest Fix Auto location. Their highly trained and certified technicians will have you back on the road in no time. You have a choice on who fixes your vehicle. Tell your insurance agent that you want to go to Fix Auto.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
The Lakers finally get a win in the Battle of LA. They beat the Clippers by 5 last night in overtime. First win for the Lakers over the Clippers since July 30th, 2020, when the NBA was in the bubble down in Orlando. The win snapped an 11-game losing streak to the Clippers. Austin Reeves scored 7 of his 15 points in overtime. LeBron played 42 minutes. He led the Lakers with 35 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. Congratulations to the Texas Rangers and their shortstop Corey Seager. The Rangers shut out the Arizona Diamondbacks last night to win their first World Series. The Rangers did it in 5 games. They were 11-0 on the road in the postseason. Seager, who played 7 seasons with the Dodgers, was named World Series MVP. Seager had 3 homers and 6 RBIs. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. I was able to speak with Kate Luzio, former banking executive and now owner of Luminary, who partnered with Chase for this tour. She makes it her business to build community for business owners.
Yes, so I was a banker for 20 years before I decided to become an entrepreneur. 7 of those years were actually at JP Morgan Chase. One of the biggest things that I had going into my entrepreneurial journey was a big background in banking.
So what advice are you giving business owners looking for financial backing today?
So Chase brings in so much knowledge and the opportunity to understand what financial tools are out there for business owners to build, grow, and scale their business. A lot of business owners will say, well, I need to get a loan immediately. Well, you wouldn't just lend money to your friend if you didn't know why they needed it. I tell every business owner, you need a business plan, you need financial projections, you need a banker. Because you have to start building a relationship with a banker so that they get comfortable with how you're going to build that business and so that they can eventually support you in different ways.
Makes sense. So visit the Chase Community Center on Crenshaw and Vernon. Meet a banker today. Tell them about your business. I'm Maisha Cairo in the community for KBLA with JP Morgan Chase.
Anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters, protect the environment, or feed the hungry. Not only will you make a difference for others, but for yourself. You can earn money for college, learn career skills, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Make a difference. Choose your future. Choose AmeriCorps.
No young person should ever have to worry about having a safe place to sleep at night, or whether anyone cares about them.
But the reality is, 1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis and giving them the support and tools they need to succeed in life. To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today. Thank you for caring.
Only 1 in 5 people with autism are employed, despite many having the skill set and desire to work.
Maybe it's because employers don't know what kind of jobs they can do. Like, what about a programmer?
That's a job for someone with autism.
How about a healthcare worker?
Yep, that is too. People with autism can do a lot of different jobs, but often get overlooked due to outdated stigmas. Introducing WIN by Autism Speaks. We help businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring.
What about a ranch hand?
To learn more, go to autismspeaks.org/win.
Hello?
Man, where are you? I thought you were coming.
I can't. I'm in bed with the flu.
The flu? Whoa. Grandma's about to crowd surf. Man, I'll call you back.
Don't get stuck at home with the flu. A flu shot is safe, effective, and you can get it at the same time as your COVID-19 vaccine. A flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu and its potentially serious complications. Don't get flu FOMO. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
Hey. Mama Boo is my guest. NaKiesha Scott is her government name.
Yes.
But it's nice to have you in. Live Your Life is the name of her organization. And we're talking about your upbringing and kind of, your struggles as a kid, dealing with poverty, dealing with generational trauma in the form of your mom. And I'm not going to ask you to say her business on the air, but your mom experiencing trauma, becoming drug addicted, and passing that part of the trauma on to you and your brother. You get involved with a gang. You and then and you're basically functionally illiterate. I mean, you could read some, but you can't really read.
Right.
It sounds like, well, let me not say it sounds like. What for you is a turning point where you just decide to change the nature of the activity that you have going on in your life?
My daughter becoming a mom. It was just I didn't want her to go through anything that I went through. And I didn't want her to feel unsupported or unloved. I wouldn't say I felt unloved because I would be lying if I said that. But the lack of hugs, the lack of good jobs, the lack of positivity, I didn't want her to go through that like I did.
So
she changed mostly everything as far as my mindset. It was like literally like I got pregnant and was like, oh no. Had a baby, was like, oh heck no. So it was really her.
And because of your mom, you never got into drugs at all?
Because of her.
Right, because you didn't want to
emulate.
No. You didn't want to do what she did.
No, and then with me knowing her history of drugs and then my father's as well before he passed away when I was 12. So he was heavy in drugs too. And I'm like, oh no, if I were to even try something, I'll probably get hooked. So I never even sought to even try drugs.
So then when you...
Just marijuana.
Well, right. Right, which, I mean, I guess technically is a drug if you look at the government schedules.
Right.
But it's... Yeah, that's another show for another day. It's currently legal in the state of California. So for you, then, when you had your daughter and you said it was a mindset switch, but breaking habits, I mean, you didn't have a drug habit, right?
Right.
But breaking habits of the ways we think and the things that we do, the places we go, the people we hang out with, it's not easy. How did you do that?
No, it's not easy, but I had a real live baby doll. You know, so instead of going to go get drunk or something like that with the homies, I have a baby doll right here. You know, I was more intrigued and infatuated with her. So it wasn't hard for me to kind of step back and not be in the streets. And plus, I was one of the moms where you couldn't touch my baby. I don't want her to smell your breath. Don't kiss her. Don't nothing. So it was easy for me to keep her away from people, which was keeping me away from people. And then not too long after I had her, when she was 8 months old, I got pregnant with my son. So it was like babies back to back.
Oh, so your kids are close in age.
Yeah, the
not
older
two
are 16 months apart.
16 months, yeah. Well, not even a year between your pregnancies, I should say. Yeah.
Right. So it was just easy for me because my babies meant more to me than anything from the beginning. Just, I would say naturally. Wow. It wasn't forced.
So you didn't miss the streets in that sense?
Nah, not at all.
That's
not
wild.
at all. I had live baby dolls. I had one in diapers number 1 and one in pull-ups. What we talking about? I'm active all day and I'm sleepy all day. So what we talking about?
So then, and I've talked to you about this before and read about it in The Wave, that you, even when you were active as a gang member, even before that, when you were a kid dealing with choir and mom's addiction, something in you said you want to help other people.
Yeah, I've always been like that. Even though I will hurt you back then, however, on the flip side, I will help you. You know, and it was just something that's just me. I can't say it no other way because I've been through.
Miss Gemini.
Right, and I've been through things where I feel like I don't want to help people no more because you get, stabbed in the back so much.
Right,
and you have so many people that just only want you to help them. And I've gotten to the point like where you feel like I'm not helping nobody no more, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to go against my core for people. I just got to be more selective of who I help moving forward, but I'm just not going to not be me because they don't know how to receive and how to reciprocate it.
Yeah, I'm smiling because I've been through that myself.
A lot.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it made me lean more into black people. That somebody's going to stab me in the back. I'd rather
it be my own.
Yeah, I know
And
that
that's a
sounds crazy,
thing,
but that's
too.
how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was more so a lot of the thought of me not being out in the streets as much more. My kid's father was 42 years old and I was 19.
Wow.
And he's the son of Jeff Harris, who's Eve After Dark, the owner of Eve After Dark. So with me getting into that family and having kids by him, which all three of my kids are by the same guy, it kind of prevented me from doing different things because he used to speak life into me on levels like, you don't know who you are. Like, stop going around people, let them come to you. You know, like, you a powerful little person. He used to call me Black Woman Jujon. So he was like, you know, a lot of empowerment did come from him. And then knowing the family that I was associated with, it had an effect that some of the things I couldn't continue to do it because of who I'm with.
How does a 19-year-old end up with a 42-year-old, though?
We're going to drink some juice on that.
KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking with Mama Boo. I mean, I already know that if any of your girls inside of your organization Live Your Life
even say something to me like that, we're going to have a whole long talk, a couple of days. I would say a couple of days of talking. I don't know. You know, when they say that one can cultivate you or what have you, it's like it didn't seem like a bad thing because he wasn't a bad person to me. He didn't come around and just snatch me from where I was at and was cruel to me. You know, it was more like showing me that be you. And then I was a tomboy, so we used to work on cars together. We'd have put a whole engine in the car, whole transmission in the car. And this is like I'm 22 years old doing this stuff with my kid's father. So it gave me more of something to do opposed to if I had someone, example, my age and on the same page as me. I would have been more enticed to be more in the streets opposed to having someone older with a family like that. It was like, no, you need to sit down because, you know, you over here in our family. So, you know, sit your little hot self down.
Yeah, I mean, we can do a whole show on that. We'll leave that for another day. But, that trauma, you know, that not just the trauma of the early childhood. It's interesting. I had this woman on last week talking about the things that happen to us when we're nonverbal, when we're not even old enough to speak yet, what we go through and how that impacts us. But also the things that happen once you get involved in gang life. I'm sure there's a lot more trauma there.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I would explain it to be is wanted trauma. That don't make sense, but it makes sense to me, you know, because you know that what you're doing is going to bring a response. You know, if you over here fighting or if you over here doing other things, it's going to bring a response back to you. So it's kind of wanted trauma, like you dare somebody to come back and do something.
Right. You're saying you're inviting that trauma, that drama into your life. But but there's reasons for that, right?
Yeah.
Some of which may go all the way back to what you saw, heard, experienced as a baby, as a child.
As a kid, I remember both of my grandmothers on my mother's side and on my father's side. Neither one of them liked me. And this is as a little girl.
That's weird.
You know, where I remember being like 5, 6 years old, crying to my mom about why Dia, her mother, don't like me. And then I remember, as you say, like the kids, it's not, you cannot take it in your mind and understand what's going on. But my grandmother on my father's side, I used to see her in the grocery store. And I don't remember the words that was exchanged, but I remember the feeling. I remember always feeling that she didn't like me. So that grew into don't nobody care. You know, like, you don't like me, I don't like you.
Right. So when you talk about inviting trauma, it can be anything. It can be attention. It can be power. So when we come forward, continuing the conversation with Mama Boo, the real question I was getting to is how do we move past that? How do we identify it? And then how do we uncondition ourselves? That's probably not the right word. Decondition ourselves from the patterns that come from that. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward. Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation.
In August 2020, after the death of George Floyd, Bridget Floyd and other family members established the George Floyd Memorial Foundation in support of the black community.
It's going to take more than just us as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to make a change.
Fight for racial justice for the black community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. I was able to speak with one of the panelists, the owner of Kids Love. Take a listen.
So Kids Love, KIDSLUV, is a first-to-market zero-sugar, vitamin-enhanced functional beverage for kids.
So the zero sugar is really important because if not, the sugar gets on the teeth, it can cause cavities. So as a mom, I love this vitamins and hydration in one. Tell us what's happening here with Chase Bank today.
So I would say, I think what Chase is trying to do is create a community actually for entrepreneurs, a place where people can go. They have the space to do it. It's a beautiful space. And to be able to have these conversations. There are so many benefits to being a women-owned and certified business, from a standpoint of getting into stores, not paying the slotting fees of what it takes to be in stores. So I think Chase is trying to bring awareness to a lot of the things that people just don't know about, that not only the bank can help, but outside of the bank, their relationships can help create.
That's beautiful. And I know, this is how we build equity in communities of color, is kind of spreading that information and that knowledge. So thank you for being here today and doing your part and letting these women know that it is possible.
For KBLA 1580, I'm Maisha Cairo in the community with Chase.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
Talking with NaKiesha Scott, a.k.a. Mama Boo. I didn't realize the song we played, Bloody Marys, it hasn't even dropped yet.
No.
So we have a world premiere exclusive. And when that when it comes out, which is imminent, like any day now, where will we find it?
I'm going to post it on my social media as well as YouTube, Spotify. I'm going to put it on all the platforms.
Okay, so tell us your social media.
Mama Boo 132, MOMABOO 132. That's Instagram. YouTube is Mama Boo Boo, MOMABOO. Same as Facebook.
All right, and you had the 3 different characters rapping. We mentioned that. And I didn't realize the Bloody Marys, the name of the song, is a reference to a scary movie, because I'm a punk when it comes to scary movies. I don't like to be scared. Life is scary enough. But congratulations on that, because, circling back to all the opportunities you said you walked away from, now you're leaning into it.
I'm just like, at the end of the day, my daughter is 22 in the Navy. I have a 21-year-old, and then I have a 15-year-old. I'm like, y'all got it twisted. Y'all mama can rap. Y'all mama is talented. Let me step back into what I left behind to raise y'all. Like a lot of people that hear me rap, or when I be in the studio, or somebody asks me to do something on the song, which I have a lot of stuff going on that's just not out, they be like, where have you been? And I'm like, raising kids.
Yeah, but you know what? Some people would say, why get into the rap game when you're already all the way grown?
I mean, it's not that I'm trying to get into it. I'm just displaying my talent. It is what it is.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. Yeah, I mean, I can veer over into a really interesting conversation, which we'll have another day, about where we are with women in rap right now. But I want to get back to what we were talking about, which is, do you define yourself as a leader? Because I see you as one. Yeah,
absolutely,
a leader, in a change maker in your community.
Absolutely.
So when you talk about that trauma, generational trauma, hard things that you've gone through at whatever phase of your life, how did you or how are you overcoming?
The first steps that I took was to reflect. Just to sit back and weigh my options of everything and weigh the good and the bad and how did it affect me. And it was baby steps, I would say, when I was with my kid's dad. It was more, he was a blocker for a lot of the bull crap because, you're in a relationship, you can't just do what you want to do and just hang out like that or it cause, turmoil in the house.
Shouldn't.
So,
yeah, right.
So that was a blocker. And I've always respected what he did or didn't want me to do a little bit too much, where I suppressed myself on a lot of things just to appease him. So I would say the real turn of events came after leaving him, when I really reflect and I stopped blaming other people. Well, not other people, stopped blaming my mom about a lot of stuff. And it's like, you grown now, you freshly 30. Why you keep talking about what she did or didn't do? So I would say get therapy. Because right now, currently, I am in therapy. I have no problem with that. Y'all do not know how much I've been stressed out. People on social media just see me just going. But behind the scenes, it's been a lot of struggles. It's been a lot of different things that have been making me just want to just put it down and just be like, girl, just get you a job and just go back to doing something. I'm like, no. But me working with elders for 15, 16 years with Alzheimer's and dementia, and then talking to elders.
In your day job.
Yes. And that's what I did for 16 years. That's what I really did up until about 4 or 5 years ago. And then I started my own business. But working with them and the ones that's like stage 1 dementia or Alzheimer's that's still coherent on levels, talking to my elders really, really helped me. And I really hold dear what they say to me. Like, I take them very serious. So I believe with me, it was, reaching back to my elders and getting a different perspective. And, elders can read you. You can sit and say, oh, I feel good. There's nothing wrong with me. I had a lady that I worked for in Compton. And I remember a couple of times going in her house and I was going through something, needed to move and whatever the case was. And she would be like, Keisha, what's wrong? And I'm like, the first couple of times, I'm like trying to get it together, before I get in there so she don't read me. And she always read me and was like, no, something is wrong. It's on your spirit. And I didn't understand that until maybe like 2 years ago. When my daughter walked in the house one day and it was something on her spirit. And I'm like, oh, I get it. I get it. So I would say reflect and be honest with yourself.
Reflecting, being honest with yourself, talking to the elders, and going to therapy.
And being who you are. What do your spirit tell you at nighttime?
Right.
What do you think the most about? And go with that. Not because a lot of times when you doing something different or trying to be different, it appeals to everybody else like you tripping. You shouldn't even do that. Like, I wouldn't be wasting my time with that. That deters a lot of people. Yeah. Listening to other people and caring more about what people think about what they want to do or pursuing versus what they feel about it. So I would say pursue you.
And Mama Boo, where would you ultimately like to go or be? What's the end game if something like that exists for you?
For me, the end game is to get my girls that are in my nonprofit and the ones have yet to come to me, to get them on a different level, to get a pilot. My main focus is my girls, other than my kids, is to get them exposed to different things where if I don't take off and blast off, I can blast a few of them off. No difference than when we was doing an interview and they was doing an interview and you was like, you want to get on here? I was their personal assistant that day. I was a videographer and personal assistant that day. I'm not going on camera. This is them. Let them talk. So my thing is these girls. I'm like really, really passionate about that. And
tell me about how you observe the impact that's having on them.
The impact, they're most of them that come to me, they feel thick to me, like bundled up. They starting to feel a little lighter to me, where they just talk about whatever they want to talk about. Joke. It's not like they're scared to talk, and they talk about personal stuff or boys or different stuff. So the impact that I think I'm having on them, that I know that I'm having on them, is them opening up and understanding the difference between what's in and what's out. What they think is what's in is what's on social media, but that's really what's out.
And what about the impact on you, the girls, working with the young people? Because I know it's hard. You already said you've had your moments of going, you know what, I'm just going to go get a regular job, but you don't do it.
The impact that it's had, I be emotional about my girls all the time. I just be like a ball of crybaby emotion. Like, what can I do next? What can I teach them? Where can I take them? What do they want to do? And I always have an open conversation with them about what they want to do. But the impact on me is just let me know that what I'm doing is my purpose, because it feels so good, and I can't turn away now if I want to. Like, for example, with the food, if I feel one day I'm going to stop passing out food, maybe. That's kind of hard to say, but the girls, that'll never happen.
Right. And when you talk about passing out food giveaways, just one of the many things that you do with Live Yo Life.
Yes.
It's liveyolife.org, right?
Yes.
Liveyolife.org if you want to donate.
Live Your Life 32. Liveyolife32.org.
LiveYourLife32.org.
Yes.
And so if you want to donate, if you got a person that's going to be in the program, if you just want to learn more, just visit the website or on Instagram.
Yes.
On Instagram at
MomaBoo132. MomaBoo 132.
Okay, got about a minute here, Mama Boo. Thank you so much for being so candid, for sharing your story, for all the work that you do. What do you want to leave us with this morning?
The same thing I say every time. Listen to your spirit and tune out the outside back, all the noise. All the fuss and the noise, tune it out and listen to your spirit. What do you want to do? And be that positive change that you want to see. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, and I hope
and
folks
support each other. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
support
go ahead.
each other. I see a lot of African American people starting businesses, and we will not support each other like we should. I'm just saying, support each other and stop being so quick to be negative about your own kind.
That's right. You can start with supporting KBLA 1580. Download our app. It helps us prove that we got people listening to us and standing with us, KBLA 1580. And, of course, I do Wealth Building Wednesdays. We spotlight Black businesses every week right here at 7 a.m. on Wednesdays, Wealth Building Wednesday, if you want to know where to go spend those dollars in order to recycle Black wealth. Mama Boo, thank you.
Thank you. And,
okay. It's time to pass the microphone. Is that Mama Boo I hear? What?
Yes.
Tavis Smiley is up next. I think that's my quote for the day. What did you say? Your line?
Listen
People
to
tell
your
you to
spirit.
slow down because they don't want you to pass them up.
Yep.
That's Mama Boo wisdom right there. Until next time, one love.
Mixed with a real hitter, label me the church's money cold piece. Mental funerals ain't playing in the streets. Bobbing heads or getting head is a pleasure to me. Slow dancing on your face is not a race to me. Tap in or tap out. Bet I'm playing in your mouth. Half the bloodiest Mary until that chick come out. Don't make me have to prove to you that you don't want this heat. I promise. I made my mind. I'm not in love with you and you don't want this.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The Cornell University student who allegedly threatened to kill Jewish students is being held without bail. Patrick Dye, a 21-year-old engineering student from Pittsford, New York, shuffled into federal court in Syracuse Wednesday in a jail jumpsuit. He waived his right to a bail hearing. Prosecutors said Dye allegedly posted to the White House and Congress for action on the migrant crisis. Adams